Well, Brad, it's the week we've all been dreading. It's Liverpool coronation week. This is Red Card Radio. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from three friends, support different clubs. Three different friends this week. My name is James. I support Arsenal. With me tonight is Brad. He supports Chelsea. And down below, not a better week to have him. It is Jimmy. He supports the new champions, Liverpool Football Club. Jimmy, hello. Welcome.
Good to
Congratulations.
be here. Thank you very much. Real excited.
Yeah. So before we get into all of the nitty gritty of the weekend and we dissect all these results and all the games, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, ring the sub notification bell. If you're on the podcast site, thanks so much for clicking on it. Follow, 5-star review. Everyone can hit the share button, put it on your social media, send it to a friend. All that does help us out tremendously, and we really appreciate it. One quick administrative note about the FA Cup. Aston Villa, Unai Emery did the most Unai Emery thing in the world, and just his season fell apart in the span of 6 days. Knocked out of the Champions League, they're slipping in the table and have now been eliminated from the FA Cup. In the semifinal, they lost to Crystal Palace 3-0. And then on Sunday, Manchester City, of course, beats Nottingham Forest 2-0. So we have a Crystal Palace Manchester City final. That should be late May. I don't really know when it is. It's going to be after the Premier League ends, right? So
It's usually like the last weekend in May.
yeah, but the problem is the last weekend in May this year is the Premier. Maybe it's the same day as the Champions League. I don't know, but
It usually isn't.
it usually isn't. But we'll see. But that's all we really care about. What we care about most is this Premier League. And as you see, if you're on YouTube, we've got this Premier League table pulled up, and as you can see, Liverpool have played 34 games, are on 82 points. Arsenal have played 34 games and are on 67 points. Mathematically, it is impossible for Arsenal to catch Liverpool. Therefore, Liverpool crowned themselves champions by picking up a single point, though they picked up all three against Tottenham at the weekend. If we do look at that kind of race for fifth, we can see currently Newcastle, Manchester City, and Chelsea are in leading that race. Nottingham Forest are still close. Aston Villa slipping a little bit. In the relegation situation, of course, Ipswich, Leicester, and Southampton are all confirmed to be relegated. Maybe the most interesting battle remaining in the season is the coveted battle for 17th between West Ham and Tottenham. We'll see if Big Ange and the boys can pull it out and just be flirting with relegation in 17th. But as we've been saying, Liverpool are the champions. They have dethroned Manchester City. They end the Manchester City four-peat. I meant to look to see which year it was that a team not named Manchester City or Liverpool won the title. It was Chelsea. I just don't remember.
Chelsea.
I don't remember which year it was, Brad.
16, 17?
I think so.
That's kind of what
16,
I was.
17.
That's kind of what I was thinking. So
because I thought it was Liverpool last, and then 2 of City, and then Chelsea.
Yeah, 16, 17.
That was Antonio Conte, right?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah. So, congratulations to Liverpool, Jimmy. You can take it however you want. You can talk about the year holistically. You could talk about the shellacking of Tottenham. However you want to do it, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could start with the 3 points earned this weekend against Tottenham. You could argue that we probably deserved more just because we beat them so bad. But yeah, I know that there's been a lot of joking about the Tottenham Liverpool aggregate for the year. Just so if everybody doesn't know, Liverpool outscored Tottenham this season 15-2. I believe was the grand total,
and that includes the Carabao Cup as well. Yeah,
includes the Carabao Cup as well. Yes.
Wow.
But it's pretty interesting to me that Liverpool's going to score more goals against Tottenham than Tottenham is going to place in the Premier League this season, which is hilarious.
Man, can they finish 15th? Is it possible?
I think they still can.
Oh.
Will they?
They can.
I don't know.
Oh man, that would be incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Now, to defend Sean a little bit while he's not here,
No.
I very much hope that they can pull it off because of my dislike for Everton so much. I don't want Everton to finish. I am one of those people that don't want Everton relegated. I want them finishing just out of relegation maybe every season, just so they can continue to be embarrassed. But I also still want to play them and beat them twice every season. Now, granted, we drew them once this year in a fluke.
Yeah,
but
that was an interesting game.
Yeah, but I still like to be able to, beat the heck out of them every year.
Yeah.
So, do you sound a little bitter? Did you catch all that blue smoke in the celebration there?
Not quite.
Yeah, it was quite the impact that I think that guy was expecting. 10,000 cans, and I think like 2 got pulled.
Yeah, I think there was if anything, it was like maybe more of like a gray haze and the
Sea of
massive red. Yeah.
So let's kind of think about Liverpool this season. I think everyone would agree that they've been the best team this year. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Brad?
100%. I think there's been spurts where Nottingham has just been so surprising and very effective. But that's just in pieces of the season. I do think Nuno's done a great job as a manager for Forest, but I mean, who would have thought Slot was going to come in and be this good?
Well, let me ask you about that specifically, because I have been saying for the last few weeks that Liverpool did a very smart thing in hiring Slot, even though they didn't initially intend to hire Slot. They were trying to go after Xavi Alonso, and they were trying to do other things.
Yep.
But in hiring Slot, they hired a manager that's trying to do the same things that Klopp did in the same way that Klopp did. And with a squad that Klopp built to do the things that he wanted. And so they brought in a manager who already was fit for purpose here. And that's why they were so successful. I think that was tremendously helpful to Liverpool this year.
I think that's a good point. He already had a working formula, and I think he knew that. What was been so interesting about him though is there were, any manager gets a little bit of tunnel vision on like the vision they've had and in what they have tried to accomplish with the players they've signed and so forth. Well, one of the nice things that you get with Slot, who already has kind of like the same idea, he's like, I'm not going to try to completely derail the ship that's going in the right direction. But what I can do is make a couple of small adjustments, especially within personnel and a few different tactical changes regarding kind of like the width of play and stuff like that was one of the things that was talked about a lot at the beginning of the season. And it just kind of like, it just worked much better. And I don't know if it's just those little tweaks, the midfield having a second year together now, us being drastically more healthy than we were in the previous years. I mean, a lot of these are, kind of all add together. But I mean, realistically, there were so many little game management moments throughout the whole year that he really shined as a manager, and it's like, wow, we got our money's worth. He's hopefully here for the long haul, and we continue to see the same results year after year.
I think it's interesting you mentioned the health aspect of it, because I think I saw on Twitter Tam Zeed was talking about, the friend of the podcast, also resident Liverpool supporter Tam Zeed, and pot stirrer extraordinaire. He was talking about like, maybe he quote tweeted something Slot said or something about how like he knew that the players would be good, but the only thing they had to do was remain healthy. And like someone like Konate was only missed 5 games or something like that this year, and who's traditionally has a terrible injury record and was just available.
Yeah, Jota only missed a quarter of the season versus his normal half or 2/3. It was better. I mean, there's some credit to, I think we brought in a new physio, which is, maybe that helped, maybe it didn't. I think there was, some of what Slot was able to do as far as like, roster management through the season also probably helped. And we got good minutes out of the people that you don't necessarily expect to get like the best time. Like Curtis Jones comes out of nowhere. Gravenberch both of those guys they go to another level under Arne Slot, and they were good before. Gravenberch maybe not so much. I was kind of wanting him out, but now I'm like, oh my gosh, he is talking about solving a major problem that we got, that Chelsea messed us up with in the summer. All of our targets going to Chelsea, and now it's like, Liverpool just wave bye to those guys. Like, I hope you guys had fun, and you're going to ready when you guys get sold to Brentwood or whatever you go next. You could have been at Liverpool.
So that's an interesting question. Like, what do you think that Slot makes any drastic change? Like, obviously, Liverpool have been linked to Isak, that there is interest in Isak. Is the center forward the main goal, especially now that Mo Salah and Virgil have been tied down to 2-year extensions? Like, what do you think the transfer plans are for the champions?
Yeah, so, most of the speculation right now is they're going to go splash a whole bunch of money. What that's going to be, I don't know. Right now, I see most of the action being guys going out, and I don't really know who's coming in. I think Darwin's out. He should be out. There's talk about Luis Diaz right now, trying to figure out if they're going to even be able to renegotiate his contract in a way that's going to make sense long term, or if they're going to sell him this summer. I think they probably sell him this summer.
I think so.
I think I think Kwanzaa potentially, he's been linked to Newcastle. I think Trent's likely going to Real Madrid. There's been a lot of talks. Andy Robertson's going out. But who knows? I think our midfield is very solid. I don't know that we need to bring in necessarily new midfield, except for maybe, like, if anything, one player, if we keep everybody. Realistically,
you already have a new goalie.
We already have a new goalie coming in that we signed last summer.
Yeah.
So I assumed Kelleher was going to be going, unless we get massive Saudi money for Allison.
Well, speaking of Saudi money, let me throw a curveball at you.
Mm-hmm.
If Saudi Arabia come in with $100 million offer for Mo Salah, do you think Liverpool sell him?
Yeah, I think they do.
I wonder about this a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe it won't be $100 million, but part of me wonders if Salah signed the extension with the idea, and maybe it has like a release clause in there that's not really publicized. That is he signed this to protect Liverpool because he's maybe he stays. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the conspiracy theorist in me is like, well, maybe he just signed it to protect Liverpool and he's going to go to Saudi Arabia anyway in the summer. I wonder about that.
You look at the guy, he's still, what is he, 33, 34 now?
33,
I can't remember how old he is.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of similarities to, Ronaldo. Like, those guys have just done a very good job taking care of their bodies. They just don't really have a lot of injury problems. And you look at, we've seen what Ronaldo can do, even though he's extended into the Saudi League, which not as competitive. But, Mo is still at the top of his game, not that much different than when he was the same age.
Well,
and again, those guys take care of their bodies so well, but at the same time, to get $100 million for somebody that's in their mid-30s,
yeah,
I don't see how you can turn that down.
Yeah,
the only thing I would say about the comparison to Ronaldo is that when Ronaldo fell off the cliff, he fell off the cliff.
He bent. Yes.
And so like his last year at Juventus and then into his year and a half at United. Like it was clearly different because he lost his speed and he wanted to be the primary guy, but he just wasn't the guy
anymore. Yeah.
So
not in a top league like the English Premier League. In Saudi, sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And maybe in the United States, he could still do it.
Oh yeah, he would eat the MLS lot. It's kind of like when Zlatan came to the MLS and it looked like he wasn't trying because he didn't need to. If Ronaldo came to MLS, it would look like he wasn't trying.
Absolutely. So I don't know. I love Mo and I don't want him to go at all. But at the same time, just thinking practically, and with all the weird financial fair play is nowadays, if you sold him for $100 million, and realistically you might be able to get more because just the inflated rates of some of these players are just stupid. What did Chelsea buy Casado for? 105?
105, 100, something in there.
How much did they pay for Mudryk?
70.
70 plus 30 million add-ons. What about
whatever?
Who was
all of it?
What about Enzo?
Enzo
another
100 mil.
120 million.
Mil?
I think it was 120.
Look at goals and assists and whatever those guys provide versus what Salah provides. You could argue even at 34, he's worth $200 million or euros, whatever. He's not going to get that because of his age, but I could see him. I could see a Saudi a Saudi club coming in and paying at least 150 for him.
All right, closing thoughts, Jimmy. Are
Closing
you
thoughts.
are you bullish on Liverpool repeating next year?
Right now, yes. Right now, I am bullish on Liverpool repeating because we have re-signed Mo and we have re-signed Verge. I don't think Trent going away hurts us as bad as those people, because Connor Bradley's outstanding. The problem is that we don't have any extra real depth there that I know of outside of our academy. So, and the same thing I have with the left back. So I think fullback is the kind of where we have to target for summer stuff. Again, let's say we splash and get Isak from Newcastle. I would definitely prefer him over Darwin. I think he's, again, proven goal scorer.
Would. Literally
everybody would.
Yeah. So I don't know that it'll actually happen, but if it did, it'd be awesome.
It won't.
So it's just interesting to see what we can do. I don't think City is going to be as good. I think they're going to continue to kind of fall off. I do still worry about Arsenal. I think that if they can stay healthy, because this year they were a train wreck.
Yep.
And if Arteta can just stay a sane human being, which he's not, then I think Arsenal could challenge Liverpool. After that, though, I just don't think I think there's a pretty big fall off. I don't think anyone else competes. I mean, Brad, even with Chelsea, I think you guys are still rebuilding, but we know you're going to tear that rebuild down this summer and rebuild again like you do every year, and it's going to be the same story.
Yeah. I wonder how many goalkeepers they signed this summer.
At least 5.
3 years into a project when we started the project. 2 years into a project that we needed 3 years. Sorry, a goalkeeper, center back, and a striker. And guess what? We still need this summer: a goalkeeper, a center back, and a striker.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, of course, right now I'm going to feel on top of the world because we've just won it. We've won it very convincingly, and there's not that much change going on. Rumored that I think it's going to affect the roster in any way. So I think if we can continue in the path we've been going, I think we'll be equally successful. And I mean, if anything, I would hope that next year we take home 2 trophies, not just 1.
All right. Well, let us know in the comments what you guys think. Can Liverpool repeat it? Are they deserved winners? What do you think? We here at Red Card Radio absolutely do think that Liverpool are deserved winners of the Premier League. So don't twist that in any way. Liverpool certainly we're the best and are the best team in England this year. But let us know in the comments what you think. We will be back later this week. We're going to come with a preview for round 35 for the weekend fixtures, and we'll have an update for our picks, see how everyone's doing on the spreadsheet. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy, and we will see you guys soon. Thanks so much.